I have had many out-of-body experiences throughout my lifetime. Each one has been completely unique. The first one that I remember consciously was at 9 years of age, during a surgery. I believe that one was a near-death experience. The out-of-body experience I would like to share with you today happened approximately 4 months after my son passed away due to brain cancer. He was 19 when he was diagnosed and he lived for 15 months before passing. My son was the most beautiful human being I have ever known, and his illness, surgeries, treatment and passing shook me to the core. He had always been such a gift to me, and I love him with a depth of love that I cannot describe in words. At the time of this out-of-body experience, I was not sure if I could continue on in my life with the amount of grief and sadness I felt. It was in the early morning hours that the OBE happened. I was relaxed but still laying in bed. My husband was out of the house very early for a morning shift. I believe it was probably about 4:30 or 5 a.m. I felt the familiar feelings that I experience when an OBE is about to happen. There is a rushing sound and I feel as though my being is moving under my skin. All of a sudden I was out of my body and in a place that was beautiful. I didn't feel any traveling to get to this place, I was just suddenly there. I would describe my surroundings as lush, green and manicured. As though a gardener took great care to make this place beautiful, but not in an orderly flowerbed type of way. The trees were large and full with many colors of greens and some with wine-colored leaves. There was a brick-paved driveway that had a small rise. I didn't see any buildings or structures at this time. At the top of the rise, on the brick driveway, stood 3 male figures. I knew immediately that the middle figure was my son David. He looked up and instantaneously, I was in his arms and he had picked me up and was twirling me around and saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you." The words are beautiful, but they were not just words, or maybe not words at all. I could feel his message all through me and I was sending the same I love yous back to him. It was the most love I have ever felt and it was everything. I don't know who the other young men were. They seemed to fade out of view and it was just David and I. I know that we had some sort of conversation and I know that he took me to meet others, but I do not have any of those details now. I am aware that for some reason, I could not bring that information back with me. Suddenly I was back within the confines of my body. This experience gave me the strength that I needed so badly at that time. I was able to carry on further. Approximately 2 or 3 months later, I had another out-of-body experience that happened in the early morning hours while I was awake and conscious. Again, I was transported instantly to a place. This landscape couldn't be more different than the first meeting with David. It was arid and dry with small sagebrush types of growth. There was a narrow, small body of water below a small hill. There are large mountains where I live, but I have been to other locations where what I would call rolling hills are called mountains. These were dry, rolling hills. On top of one of the hills, there was a fairly large group of young people. I was across the other side of the water from the hill. The place where I was standing had simple-looking cement paving and some type of railing with a building behind me. I absolutely knew that my son was on the other side of this water. All of the people there were in the same age group as David. They were playing a tournament type of game. Partnered up and trying to get the other person to fall into the water below without using their arms. As soon as I was scanning the group for David, he suddenly was beside me. At this point, David was surprised that I was there and I believe we conversed, thought about why. I believe he was satisfied with knowing that I just needed to see him or know he was all right, just strongly missing my son. David took me to the building that was like a classroom setting. I was introduced to all of the beautiful young people there and I was able to sit in on the lecture class. I have no awareness of what was taught or said. But I feel that I know it on a deeper level somehow. These 2 out-of-body experiences helped me to be able and continue on with my own life. The grief and sadness have been extreme, But seeing my son and knowing that he goes on and is incredibly well and no longer in pain, have helped me be able to live my own life. I have had many other out-of-body experiences before and after these two experiences with David, but I have to say, these two were the most amazing.